Giant irradiated scorpions? Not a problem, I'll shoot them in the face. Murderous cultists kidnapping your villagers? Not a problem, I'll shoot them in the face. Local orphan kids need food? Not a problem, I'll find somebody else to do this. This is not my area of expertise. I will go and deal with the bandits. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I'm Josh Tropheus and this is Worst MMO Ever, a show where I play every MMO I can find in an effort to find the worst. Drop a like on the video or sub to the channel for more MMO stuff. Ring the bell for all the future notifications. As usual, a massive thank you to all the supporters on Patreon and Twitch for keeping the channel alive. More information on how you can support at the end. For now, let's begin. Today we're travelling to the apocalyptic future, the dusty, irradiated remains of Fallen Earth Classic, a free-to-play MMORPG recently re-released on Steam. Many people know this as the post-apocalyptic MMO which isn't Fallout. Fallen Earth Classic is a desolated wasteland MMO set around the Grand Canyon, but is it just a cheap Fallout knockoff, or is it something actually worth playing? Let's find out. A stylized launcher. You know, I like this. I love the little flourishes around the edge, and these flourishes actually continue on into the info boxes in the game, which is a lovely bit of graphical consistency. I have to admit, I have a soft spot for stylized launchers because they remind me of the skins you could get for the old Windows Media Player. Ah, good times. Download the patches and then a message from Matt. Good old Matt. So basically, Fallen Earth Classic is Fallen Earth relaunched on Steam. And it's kept alive by a small team, and they know it's not a huge game, but they're doing everything they can to keep a server online and bug fix as and when they have time. Straight into character creation, no music for some reason. I'll be a grumpy old man with a terrific beard, and then we begin. WASD movement, A and D actually strafe, which is good, and the camera, oh god, the camera sensitivity is so high. Right, this is going to take some getting used to. Spacebar jumps, but then you float down as if gravity has just kind of given up. Pressing tab switches from free cursor to locked action mode combat. Left click is your left hand weapon and right click is your right hand weapon. We're told to kill this clone, so behold, combat. Why is it so quiet? Is the audio off? Oh. Yes, for some reason the audio options are all off by default, so I stick them back on, activate this panel because a text box told me to, and then we get a voiceover.
We don't have much time, so I need you to listen to me. On the next computer, there's a region pod control terminal. Activate it.
That voice acting was actually quite good. We now get an option to skip the tutorial or play through, which is always a good choice, so I will play it through.
Good work. That'll keep the cloning cycle going. Now, I need you to come get me. I'm on the other side of the Hoover Dam. There's a battle going on, but I'll try to get you through it.
Citizens, we are on lockdown. Any unauthorized personnel outside of the living quarters will be shot on sight. Thank you.
Right, we're inside Hoover Dam, and we need to escape because this place seems dangerous, and yeah, heads on pikes usually means unfriendly place. This is visual storytelling, but we need a weapon. I wonder what the game will suggest.
You need to find a weapon. Ugh. Well, that axe might work.
You know you're in for a brutal game when the tutorial suggestion is grab that axe out of that guy's skull. We meet a soldier and get told we are a clone, and when we die, all of our memories will be downloaded to the central clone network and we'll just be rebuilt from the nearest cloning facility. What a great, in-universe way to explain death and rebirth within an MMORPG. Okay, actual combat time, now we've got a weapon. Let's see if it gets any better. Oh, it does not. It's floaty. Hit animations pass right through enemies. There's no feeling of impact or collision or weight. It's just hold left click while standing tanking all the damage. When you do kill someone, flies appear above the body as a little visual indicator that they are dead. Looting is also a little bit jarring. You need to tab back to the cursor and then click on a body, but when you do this it can sometimes snap the camera to a new loot angle and then snap back when the animation's over. It's not a major issue, but it's a weak graphical transition, and this is something we will see a lot with Fallen Earth Classic. There's no single major issue, there's just lots of smaller ones. We now have a rifle. Right click aims down the sights, so we push on through this place and then bump into some good guys trying to escape, and more really good voice acting.
Snipers! Holy shit! Take cover!
Your head! Run!
We need to take out some snipers. Now, you could just run straight at them, but that seems dangerous, so I run around the stairs, sneak around the inside of this broken complex, and take them out slowly in a really enjoyable set piece. Then we chat to the Lightbringers. These people are focused on healing, so we get given some medical supplies and told to head off. Now, one thing I have noticed is each quest has multiple choice dialogue and it's fully voiced. This is really nice to play. And then...
Bastards will be avenged! The Chota and their allies will pay! Kill them! Kill them!
These voice actors are definitely earning their pay. So we get given a med kit and then told to heal this fallen soldier, target them, use the skill, wait, and then fight with them against a wave of enemies. Now this may seem simple, but from a tutorial point of view, you've just been taught how to target, how to interact, how to heal, and the value of teamwork. So we hop into this elevator, get taken up, and then...
Okay, now we have to get to the rear. Ah, damn it! Oh, hell, they're coming in! Listen, Clone, I got those two, but there's more coming.
Okay, whoever did the voice acting in Fallen Earth Classic, you did not need to act this well, but you did, and I love you for it. We're told there's a bomb in this facility, and it goes off, we're all doomed, but if we can get the bomb into the vault and have it detonate there, we should be able to save everyone else. So we need to grab the bomb and fight past the underdwellers, and then drive this ATV into the vault and detonate it there. Yes, we'll die, but we're a clone. We're basically immortal as long as there's a cloning vat nearby. Combat against a group as a solo player isn't great because everything seems to be a bullet sponge and there's no real tactics beyond shoot it in the face. So we kill these creatures and drive the ATV down the corridor, actually handles really nicely, the bomb blows up, and then we get an intro movie which nicely wraps up everything we know and introduces the rest of the game.
Welcome to LifeNet, a product of Global Tech. If you're seeing this, you are dead. But don't worry, with LifeNet, death is just a minor setback. You may be feeling confused, disoriented, or even a little scared. It's understandable. You just had your vigorous, happy life interrupted by...
explosion.
Please, accept our condolences.
Hello? Am I coming in? Clone, can you hear me? It's Elena Winters. Your stunt with the ATV saved the dam. It's thanks to you I'm alive to have this conversation. Even so, the battle took its toll. The dam fell to the Chota. The Chota got revenge on Alec Masters, but not before he added one last entry to his list of sins. Masters destroyed the LifeNet core, the mainframe for all the cloning chambers in the province. This has changed everything. LifeNet's creators never planned for this. They dreamed LifeNet would end the limits of a single lifetime and save humanity from its fear of death. Masters showed us the truth. People are afraid of death, but even more afraid of losing control. He sacrificed you and every other clone to keep anyone else from having access to immortality. So I did what I could. I rerouted your DNA through the auxiliary computers in the province. But it wasn't easy, or quick. It's been 4 years since you died saving the dam. The destruction of the core damaged the backup storing your DNA. Worse yet, your future cloning potential has been compromised. You're dying, and I don't know how much time you have. Once you die, you stay dead, just like the rest of us. There's one way to fix this. You have to find the alpha clones whose DNA makes up the LifeNet database. If you can integrate their undamaged DNA with your own, you can undo what Masters did and restore your immortality.
That was great. A short, snappy tutorial covering the basics, enough content to care but not be overwhelming, and now a choice of starting location. We are an immortal clone on a journey to fix the cloning tech which makes us immortal, because if it fails, we will lose our immortality. What a lovely bit of motivation. You are given 3 possible spawning points now, focused on support-based gameplay, crafting-based, or combat-based gameplay. I'm going to go with combat, so we're off to Boneclaw. We're greeted by some scientists now, and he says, "Oh, have you heard about this science woman?" And in a lovely RPG touch, we can say, "Yes, how is she?" or "No, I don't care." No matter what you say, he says, "Yeah, the bandits are trouble. Go and use your skills on them." The skills menu is N, put disrupt on your hotbar, and then go and use it to see what it does. So the in-game tutorial is kind of continuing into combat. Nice. So we leave the vault and... wow. This is vast. You know, there's something magical about leaving a confined space and stepping into a sprawling open landscape. It's the same feeling you get when you leave the jail in Oblivion or Fallout 3. And Fallen Earth captures that feeling superbly. Take on some of the local bandits using our skills, and when we've done that, another objective gets added. You don't need to return to the quest givers every time for the next step of the quest. It's just added on like a chain. That's a nice touch. Kill 4 bandits. I have a check of my journal. It's fine. Lists all of our current quests and lets us track them on the sidebar with a single click. Quests have a red X added to the minimap and the world map. Cursor over the X to see what quest it is. Totally acceptable journal mechanics. We let the scientists know all the bandits are dead and get given a book. You learn skills by double-clicking the book. Now we know how to craft bullets. I also get given some more weapons, so I try to equip them. And I can equip all of them. You have 6 weapon slots, 2 back slots, which can each hold a weapon that requires 2 hands to wield, 2 hip slots, and 2 drop leg slots. So I've got my axe and rifle on my back, 2 lead pipes on my hips, and 2 pistols in dropped leg holsters. You switch between these weapons by holding Control and pressing 1 to 6. And you can have any combination equipped, provided you can wield them. Dual pistols, dual knives, pistol and pipe, rifle, whatever you like. Making bullets needs copper, so we go and mine some copper. Copper deposits are shown on the map. Just click to start mining. You don't need to equip anything, you just can. And you gain experience for everything, and when you level up there's a little electrical flourish and you get some AP. I'm going to assume these are action points, because you can spend these on your stats, skills, or clone mutation upgrades. I have to say, so far this whole thing feels quite Dungeons and Dragons. Low numbers, enemy save bonuses, some attacks stun, increased crit chance. The upgrades aren't substantial, but they are noticeable. And that's my favourite way for upgrades to be. L brings up the crafting menu. As long as you have the knowledge and the materials, you can start a project. It'll keep being built even if you're offline. And as I'm told later, some things take hours or even days. Now, making the bullets only needs me to have 4 copper and takes 2 minutes to craft. And once you've started the project, you can go and do other stuff while waiting. So I just chat to people in global chat and enjoy the view, because it has to be said, this is a really ambient game. It's not got the highest draw distance or the best quality textures. It's not photorealistic, but it is dripping in atmosphere and post-apocalyptic style. Bump into another player and communicate in the ancient and traditional way of jumping and then crouching. I let the scientist dude know I have made a load of bullets, and he gives me a horseshoe which summons a horse. Horse riding itself is a little janky. Getting onto or off of a horse locks you into quite an awkward square animation, but the riding itself is fine, although mounted combat is a bit fiddly because of the limitation of your range of movement. We kill some bandit coordinators and then get sent to the mechanic stable. Both horses and bikes count as mounts, and these guys deal with all of them. So I park my horse by ramming it entirely inside Jerry. Neither of them seem to mind this, so now we set off toward town. Now, you can't summon your horse from anywhere. It'll remain wherever you parked it. There is an icon on the minimap to remind you, so when we need to get this horse back, we will need to pull it back out of Jerry. Arrive at the local shantytown. We're sent to talk to Whiplash. Now, this town is lovely. It's nicely laid out, relatively easy to navigate. The slopes are made of corrugated metal. The NPC is easy to find. There are great sight lines. This is a nice little place. We find Whiplash standing on this overlook. She wants revenge on a local bandit captain and gives us a dagger and asks us to kill him with it. I mean, I was gonna shoot him in the face, but okay, up close and personal it is. Oh cool, you can play in first person, and the rifle is actually modelled quite nicely. Now, melee combat's probably going to be a bit awkward because it always is in first person MMOs, and trying to get onto and off of your horse in first person is a bit of a graphical mess, but it's nice to know the options there. Find the local bandit captain and get stabbing, and this is another issue. Having 6 weapons equipped is great, but switching quickly between them isn't the most intuitive and does take a bit of getting used to. I end up tanking some damage while clicking to switch weapon, and I'm sure all of you Fallen Earth pros are weeping watching me do this. After stabbing the captain in the face, I defend from some waves of enemies and the player Wolfpack jumps in to help, which brings up another good point. This game isn't dead. It's not massive, but there's a hardcore of players keeping the community alive. When I was playing, Steam had about 70 people on. That's more than most games I play. Let Whiplash know that the knife in the bandit's face got remarkably well acquainted, and she rewards us with a massive hammer. I feel this would have been useful to have before taking on the bandit forces, but thanks. We're sent to crush some local bugs. Now every weapon has an attack style. Stab, piercing, crushing, slashing, and this hammer is meant to be effective against the bugs, so I guess we'll see how well it does. Wow, okay, this view is really nice. Fallen Earth Classic does something which is very, very difficult to do. It's not measurable in mechanical sense, it's only measurable emotionally, and that's different for everyone, but personally I feel this game has captured a feeling really well. It feels like a destroyed world. It feels post-apocalyptic. It feels like it's falling apart, and you feel a very deep sense of invigoration to survive. Yes, everything's messed up, but you can still succeed here. Some MMOs try to create the feeling of difficult survival by making every enemy super tough, or making you need a team, or making crafting super complicated and long-winded. And Fallen Earth strikes a really nice balance. It's difficult, but it's not unforgiving. It's deep, but it's not overwhelming. It's open, but it's not directionless. There are flaws, janky animations and some awkward graphical interactions, as we'll see later, but even though I've only been playing for about 2 hours at this point, I am feeling a definite, undeniable sense of quality. The hammer, by the way, is useless compared to the rifle, so while I am shooting some bugs, let's have a read of some reviews. Ugly, but super fun. So awesome to have this game back. It may be old, but it's still a blast and not easy. You will work to level up in this game, but it's worth it. Fallen Earth is back, and with no subscription or cash shop in sight. 2 thumbs up. Don't listen to older reviewers, it's been relaunched. This game was so far ahead of its time, servers are back up. Imagine if the old Fallout games were an MMO. This is it, exactly. The only other game like this I loved was Tabula Rasa. Fallen Earth is better than Fallout 76, the closest thing to a proper Fallout MMO that we'll probably ever see. Ah, Fallen Earth. It's so sweet to see it live once more. Combat is kinda janky though, but it has vehicles from horses to ATVs, cars and motorcycles. Need more people playing. Come tell your friends to join the wasteland. Don't let Fallen Earth die again. A lot of the reviews before October of 2021 are of the old version of the game that was poorly monetized and managed. Keep that in mind when reading some of these. It has switched hands to a group of devs that actually care about it now. The general sentiment seems the same. A flawed, but deeply enjoyable game. More quests from town, go and kill some ants. Okay, there's a nest just outside town, and wow, this game really likes heads on pikes, doesn't it? I suppose it is an effective way to communicate brutality, but also a handy-dandy ant's nest marker. So we head into the cave, and in a lovely touch, there's no transition between the open overworld and the inside cave. You seamlessly move from one to the other. Now we're told to use the shiv to kill ants. They say the piercing damage will help, but they are lying, because the piercing damage is terrible and the rifle is great. I suppose in a way the rifle is piercing damage just with bullets. I'm out of bandages now, and your health refills very slowly when you're out of combat, so I'm just taking my time, and I'm aware it's getting grindy. But I'm also not feeling the usual sense of annoyance which comes with the grind. Fallen Earth Classic has combined many small touches, the clean UI, the subtle background ambience, and the absolutely gorgeous crack of the rifle shot, and created a place I actually quite like being in. It's the small touches I'm noticing too, like if you can't do something, your character doesn't just say no. They have a whole range of ways to say no.
What? There's something useful in there? What am I supposed to do with this? Can't do it. What is that stuff anyway? Are there instructions for this? If there's something good in there, I can't get it. Can't do it. What is that stuff anyway? Okay, I don't really know what this is.
While not quite Fallout, these horses are definitely related to the ones from Skyrim. Next quest, kill Big Bertha. We're warned this is a tough quest and we should bring friends. I don't need friends, I have a horse, a rifle and a can-do attitude. How hard can Big Bertha really be? Oh, actually quite tough, with a lot of health. Yeah, I'm gonna need a friend for this. So I turn to the one place I know that is always accepting and friendly. An MMO global chat channel. I say I need some help. The player Thanatos says he'll come to help me, but doesn't understand why I'm using the name of that MMO YouTuber. I explain it's actually me, and he's like, no it's not. So cue another existential crisis. I feel this is going to happen to me a lot. Thanatos absolutely melts the boss because here's a badass. I let Whiplash know I killed Bertha all by myself for realsies, no help, don't ask Thanatos, and she gives me some snazzy new trousers for my trouble. Now the main quest ends here because I need to be a higher level to continue, so I just accept a load of small quests throughout the town. This is a hub zone and a lot of people need a lot of things shot in the face. When I run out of ammo, which happens quite often because my face shooting antics know no bounds, I go and hunt for copper to make more bullets, and this is actually a brilliant bit of design. You need bullets, so you need copper, and copper's basically everywhere, and you can have multiple crafting queues all going on at the same time. So you've got a constant supply of bullets coming in. Crafting is added into games to give the player some agency over getting the things they need or want, and Fallen Earth Classic has integrated it really well, because in many MMOs, crafting is a monotonous journey, sometimes a tedious chore, but here it's a sideways distraction which is quick enough to never feel taxing, but slow enough to feel rewarding. I'm not saying this is how all crafting systems have to be mechanically, I'm saying this is how they should feel. Rewarding, but not overly demanding. Next quest has me using an item to capture some cockroaches, and then the general chat, having confirmed I am indeed me, is now having a heated discussion on the ethics of reviewing an MMORPG without having hundreds of hours in it. Many people do ask me how I can claim to review a genre which often doesn't reward the player with good gameplay until hundreds of hours in, and I say that's actually one of my main reviewing points. Stop locking good content behind a 100-hour grind. Good content should not be a reward for enduring mediocre content. If you require 100 hours of setup for the players to find anything enjoyable, either narrative or mechanically, you are not being succinct enough with your setup. The famous saying, if I had more time I would have written a shorter letter, means if you have more time you can condense what you need to say, or in gameplay design terms, what you want the players to experience, into a shorter but more intense experience. An MMORPG should be high quality from the start. I'm off to take out some bandit snipers. The bandit base is an imposing fortress of reclaimed junk, and sneaking around to take out the guards is really satisfying, and then sneaking inside and stealing the supplies. I don't need to headshot everything, but it feels good, so I do. The general chat convo continues. I am told the best content is at endgame, and until I experience that, I can't really say anything fair about this game. I am finding it quite ironic. There are players online explaining to me right now that my opinion doesn't matter because I've not fully experienced the game, so anything I say is irrelevant, while also writing an actually quite positive and praise-laden script. But I do understand that long-time enfranchised MMO fans have a habit of defending their game against any newcomers, especially newcomers with opinions. Remember kids, forming an opinion on the internet is a privilege you need to earn through thousands of hours of grind. Your personal experience is irrelevant if someone else has more. So here is my completely worthless opinion. Fallen Earth Classic is a flawed gem, a diamond in the rough. It's an aging, slower-paced, futuristic MMO which has managed to get so much right the mistakes end up becoming highlighted, because they contrast so strongly with the overall high-quality experience. The combat is floaty, and some of the textures are questionable, but under that is a very solid foundation for a very enjoyable MMO. The sound design is understated yet effective and combines with the overall graphical ambience, the dusty floors and destroyed buildings to create a feeling that I would describe as comfortable apocalyptica. A world which is damaged and destroyed, but you are still here, carrying a small but intense spark of potential. You're not a hero. You're a wandering chance for redemption. You are potentially the future, but you yourself are at risk if you don't complete your task. Fallen Earth Classic feels like an old-school adventure game shared with friends. It's easy to play and easy to enjoy, and if you're after an apocalyptic MMO and you don't mind things a little rough around the edges, this is well worth your time. I even like how the map is a classical survey-style map, and the edge has been covered in pencil markings, crosses and skulls. As if someone's given you this map after years of surviving in the harsh wasteland. It has character. There's no power armor here, no laser Gatling guns or attack ships dropping off heavily armed government hit squads. It's slower, smaller, tribes of humans surviving against each other and against irradiated nature. The bandits have hockey sticks with circular saws glued to them. You're riding a horse and eating old beans. The map is big, but it's densely packed with enemies, resources, and quests. This is a low power level D&D game set in the future. You are an immortal clone who's at risk of losing their immortality, so you're journeying to save yourself and helping others along the way. And so far, I'm enjoying it. We're sent off to investigate some local disappearances. The trail leads us to this building, so we shoot our way inside and find body parts with butcher knives around them. Visual storytelling, yay for cannibalism. The local orphanage needs some scorpion venom antidote, so I grind some scorpions for ages, and this is the first quest that starts to feel like an MMO because the drop rate on venom is abysmal. I am, however, finding the hitboxes on the scorpions are super tight. Great mapping to the model. The nighttime ambience is lovely. The soft blue filter which makes everything feel cold and still. Fallen Earth is a great environment to explore around. If you're a visual tourist player, there's a lot of value here. I've helped the small people of the small shanty town long enough. It's time to head into the big city, so I walk. And I walk. And my god, do I do some more walking. And when I get close to the city, I just die to fast travel there. Hey, it's a legitimate tactic. The NPCs even tell you die once you're close and you'll respawn there. I love that there's an in-universe reason for popular mechanical tactics. The local scientist tells us our DNA is failing and we need to collect 4 samples of animal DNA from the local area to prop it up, and we've got 30 minutes to do this. Ooh, timed mission, okay. So I leave the vault and I step into the city and... oh, just wow. This is beautiful. It's not over the top, it's not grand or exaggerated, it's not flamboyant, it feels so somber and down to earth. This destroyed city, this new home. I spent some time just exploring because I love places that feel desolate in a strangely endearing way. The NPCs feel like they could legitimately be living here. But then here's the jank. You have a torch, press F to turn it on, but when you do, other ambient lighting turns off. Watch the street lamp. The bulb stays on, but the lighting effect on the floor is removed. Why does turning my flashlight on turn other lights off? This is a perfect example of the janky, dodgy coding which pops up a lot, and the player base have all told me, if you embrace the jank, you'll enjoy the game, and I can get that there is a certain endearing charm to it, but I don't think embrace the jank is a good thing to tell new players. It's not a good excuse for poor coding, and this should be fixed, but it is only minutia. It's not going to ruin your experience. Get all 5 DNA bits, bring them back, and then get told to go to the rest stop and find the alpha clone DNA. But this is a level 7 quest, and I'm level 5, so I'm just going to go and level up a bit first and ask around town. The Archive Coalition collect old books, and they want me to go and find some very late library returns. These people need me to find some local supplies that have gone missing. These guys need some bandits killed. I take a quick break to watch the sun rise over the horizon and lament how these small issues are holding this game back from actually quite deserved recognition, and this doctor wants us to deliver a letter to their sister. And then these fanatics want us to restore some holy relics. Standard post-apocalyptic stuff. You know what's annoying me is how Fallen Earth Classic feels so close to being great. The ingredients are there. It's poised on the knife edge of success. It's just not quite got it arranged all correctly. It feels like a big bundle of potential with some creeping issues, like how the town feels lovely but all the NPCs are just standing around looking like NPCs, and how the combat sounds are top quality but the impact is non-existent. It feels like looking at a cake with all of the icing falling off to one side and some of the inner is just crumbling. It's still a damn tasty cake, and if you ignore the mess, it's delicious, but no one's looking at it and thinking, that's the cake I want to buy. Talking of buying things, how bad's the cash shop? Is this where the catch is? Is it a free-to-play MMO with an abusive cash shop? That's the normal process that we go through in these videos. So let's have a look. Well, Fallen Earth Classics cash shop doesn't exist. There's no cash shop. At all. There's no VIP, there's no membership, there's no nothing. You cannot give this game money. It's a free-to-play MMO. It's just straight up that. It's kept online by the company Little Orbit, the guys who also run APB Reloaded, and I'm sure there are plans to monetize this in the future. They'd be crazy not to monetize it. but right now it's just a straight up free MMO. That's pretty awesome. You know, if they monetize this right, with cosmetics and small expansions and nothing pay to win, they might be onto a hit. I need to deliver this letter to the doctor's sister, so I fight my way into this bandit camp. They are bunkered down inside an underground delivery facility, so fighting is slow going, but once I'm in, the feeling changes from massive open world MMO to tight corridor shooter. It feels like I'm playing Max Payne, and you never even notice the transition. But unfortunately, I do die, so I respawn and try again. But this time, I go in first person, dual pistol, and the feeling of the game changes again. It's quite odd to think that I am playing the same game as 15 minutes ago. I've gone from competent open world horse riding, to competent third person sniping, to competent first person run and gun. Hey look, a rubbish bag. I wonder if there's anything useful inside it.
I can't scavenge that shit.
I guess not. Find the doctor's sister, deliver the letter, and then get told she's actually totally fine being a bandit now, so a fight starts and I die. I am not delivering the letter again, you can just deal with your own family drama. But then this guy asks if I'm feeling lost, directionless, if I feel I need purpose, and my god, yes. Yes, I do. So he invites me to his collective totally not a cult, the open book people. All I need to do is walk up to a special place just outside of town, read a special book, and then talk about how it makes me feel. Finally, direction, purpose. I bet it's the secret. So I find the book in this house atop this cliff and I have a read. It's full of mystical prophecies but no actual practical advice on how to unlock my mental potential. So when the watcher asks me how I found the book, I'm honest and say, yeah, it's nice, but there's no practical information on how to unlock my real potential. So he responds in the totally normal, not occult way of trying to kill me. Thankfully, I'm saved from the murderous book club officer by my stunning proficiency at shooting people in the face. And on his dead body I find a note. They are going to kill Randy Melbourne. Now I don't know Randy Melbourne, but he probably deserves to know that he's marked for death. So I ride back to town and let Randy know, and he explains his daughter was taken by the cult a few weeks ago. And he's seen many people being gathered up and killed by them, so we should do something about this. Not a problem, Randy. We can't have the cult indiscriminately killing people they disagree with, so I go and indiscriminately kill the cult because I disagree with them. I let Randy know I've killed a load of them and he says, quick, there's a mass slaughter planned on top of the hill right now, go and stop it. So I rush up the hill and find 5 dudes about to be killed, so I save them by killing everyone else. Thank goodness no one had to die while I was here. We then hear a shrill cry coming from down below, so we hop down and find Randy's daughter who's been hiding for a week. So we lead her back to safety, and I'd like to thank you game devs for developing an escort mission where the person being escorted runs at the same speed that I do and can actually defend themselves. Randy then thanks us. You are welcome, Randy. Just imagine how many people would have died if I wasn't around to murder everybody. We then get told the cult leader is just outside of town by the big radar dish, so I ride on over for a final confrontation, and oh man, this feels so 90s sci-fi. A confrontation by a massive radar dish. What happened to action films where the bad guy would be confronted by a massive piece of scientific equipment like a missile or a radar? It feels very Star Trek Generations. Oh man, you know what? Star Trek Generations is such a perfect analogy for this game. So much potential. Old fans, new fans, a solid foundation, great actors, enough money, but then it just didn't work because there were too many small mistakes. And just like Star Trek Generations, the setting for this fight is epic, but the fight itself, really lackluster. You know, there's only so much you can do with the mechanics of both people hit each other until someone dies. It just doesn't live up to the hype that it's built up, like watching an aging Captain Kirk trying to fist fight someone. I know that you've got skills on your hotbar, but none of them are as effective as shoot the enemy in the face some more, so I kill the leader and take his hat, because that is the law. As is custom, all organisations are governed based on the authority of hats. That's pretty cool. Heading back to the city, you can see the concrete foundations of the original city works, worn away by the wind and time. And just as the epic questline of the murderous book cult comes to a close, the mood is somewhat changed by global chat. Never change, global chat. Never change. I've been playing for about 8 hours now, and you know what? I've really enjoyed my time in Fallen Earth Classic. It's got a definite old school feel. It's not exactly got broad appeal, but it deserves to be played by more people than it's got right now. There are undeniable dips in quality and rough around the edges aspects that will keep this game niche, but all in all, the opening is a great, well-paced experience. It explains the controls, the systems, and sets expectations of what it expects of you as a player and what you as a player can expect of it as a game very early on, and I'm sure it gets better, but for a day of gaming, I had a good time. I just feel right now there's a lot of unrealised potential. So to end the review, I will award Fallen Earth Classic Star Trek Generations out of 10. But if it fixes the small issues and polishes the rough patches, I am willing to upgrade that to Star Trek First Contact instead. Thanks for watching. Another massive thank you to all the supporters on Patreon and Twitch who keep the channel alive. You can support from only £1 a month. Check the video description for links to the Patreon, Twitch, Twitter, and our Discord, and as always, have a great day.